Welcome to Married to Movies. Industry insiders John Russell and Tracy Kring live and work happily in cinematrimony. They're sharing behind-the-scenes adventures of writing, producing, and appreciating films.
Morning, babe.
Hey, that's my line.
I know.
Morning, babe.
We're trying this video thing.
Well, I don't even know if I'm going to mention that.
What do you mean I'm not going to miss it?
That is not the time where I want to be on camera, right? Mm-hmm. First thing in the morning, as soon as I wake up. I mean, like, I've just had my morning pee. Like, I haven't done anything. Well, I did brush my teeth.
We promise we won't be videoing the morning pee, folks.
No.
This isn't OnlyFans. It's very interesting how there used to be a thing called slut shaming. And there used to also be like, oh my God, you're a stripper. Why would you ever do something like that? But now it is empowering for a woman to take autonomy of her own self and to have her own website and to have her own business where she shows her butthole. Times are a-changing, as Bob Dylan says.
You know what hasn't changed? How gross men are. That hasn't changed.
It's not necessarily only men who are looking at OnlyFans, Tracy.
Let's see the stats on that.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't see the stats. That tomato is beautiful.
Isn't it? You want some?
Yeah, give me a little bit of that tomato. That thing is gorgeous. That's like straight out of Better Homes and Gardens, man.
I know. Well, they're these Jersey tomatoes.
Yeah, the Jersey tomatoes.
I don't know, like, just because they're from Jersey, they just don't have an actual name. They just call them Jersey.
I thought you were going to say they don't have an accent.
Well,
and that's probably true, too.
They do.
They do have an accent. It's like the Tony Soprano tomato. Yeah.
Huh? Why do you have a lisp all of a sudden?
Let's talk about my eggs today. I don't know if you can see them.
They're yummy.
Well, what is the extra? What's the extra that I added?
Green pepper.
No, that's not the extra.
Pepperoni.
Yes, that's the extra. We're back.
Well, I was here.
I had a working vacation. You had a staycation, as they say.
I did. Yeah. I really didn't work a whole lot during that time. I did knock out one edit for a client that has like, I think 3.8 million subscribers on YouTube. I was going through the first round of feedback. I'm working in Frame.io, so everything was like really well organized and her thoughts were very concise. I had missed an email that she sent me because I was working on notes. The email was so sweet because she said, "You are the first person to ever get this close on a rough cut."
And then she sent you 39 changes.
Well, and they were like, you know, sometimes you don't know what a person means by like put this particular thing here or there.
That's not unusual.
No.
To get, lots of changes because this is your opportunity to, to make it what you want to make it.
And some of it was like, I need to give you something to put here. I need to give you this or that or...
Right. We also got our poster back on Wheelies this week. And we had sent it off to England for a gentleman named Dom Bittner. Highly recommend. He is an amazing artist. Probably took about 2 or 3 weeks and painted us our poster for the movie Wheelies. And that had gone through a few changes, where we
Those
were like...
really iterations.
Yeah, different iterations. Yes, exactly. Very, very excited with how that turned out.
Yeah, I just got to put the text on it. You were in Vegas.
I was in Vegas and I was in Los Angeles, and it was fantastic. I went to the Chinese theater. It's not known as Grauman's anymore. Yeah, I think it's called TLC or something. I saw Oppenheimer, which was pretty freaking incredible, gotta say. Though the women were incredibly badly drawn.
I have something to say on that.
But you didn't see it. How can you say anything on it?
I saw an article. Christopher Nolan basically tried to talk Florence Pugh out of the role. He really wanted her to do it. They had a meeting and he was just like, I know this is not a great role. It's very small. She's not terribly significant. You knew? You fucking knew? And you did it anyway. And you're trying to get an actress of her stature to be in this thing.
Hang on. As someone who has not seen the movie, you do need to understand that is not exactly true. Her role is significant to the story.
Does she walk around naked most of the time?
There is quite a bit of Florence Pugh naked. There was also a surreal scene. He's talking about the creation of the atomic bomb in front of everybody, and his wife is seeing Florence Pugh riding him naked in front of everybody while this is happening because she is imagining that relationship.
This is not helping.
Yeah.
That's not helping.
It's from the perspective of the wife's fantasy and her anger at being betrayed by him. But it is...
Wait, hold on.
It is shot with the male gaze.
Hold on. You're mad that your husband's been having an affair with this woman.
Right. Crazy woman.
And you're going to imagine her having sex with him and not murdering her. Yeah, male gaze, hashtag male gaze, hashtag only men think of this shit, hashtag everything. Men suck. No! You do not! You are hurt. You are emotionally wounded. You're not going to imagine him her riding him? I'm done.
What do you mean you're done?
No, I do not want to see that film.
You have to see the film.
Stupid after stupid
You have to see that film. You have to see that film.
To me, the stupidity of, okay, we're going to fix this kind of PR issue that we're having with Oppenheimer. We're going to fix it by admitting that we knew it was a problem all along and that we did absolutely nothing to change it. We stood by our script. We didn't worry about it because fuck women. Instead
of realizing that it was an issue and going, you know what? We've got Florence Pugh in this part now.
Maybe we want to, I don't know, give her something to fucking do.
Let's build her up. Let's create a little bit more of an arc. Let's give her something to think about besides she's like...
his dick.
Pining for him to show up.
Oh, God. I can't.
I mean, very few women
are going
to pine after Cillian Murphy. Maybe in Peaky Blinders, okay, maybe, I don't know, you like the gangster type, whatever. You're not pining after Oppenheimer. You're not, okay? That doesn't mean that he can't have different women, but no woman is sitting by the door like it's the audition waiting for him to show up, okay? That doesn't happen.
Like a fucking wet chihuahua.
Yeah, that doesn't happen yet. No.
Oh my God.
Actually, I think very few women pine after men because women have lives. Men pine after women.
It's going to be hard to get me to watch that movie.
Thus saith the king. You will no, babe. You have to watch it. It's an incredible film.
I know the story.
Okay. It doesn't matter if you know the story. First of all, do you know the story? Okay.
Read a fucking book.
There's a lot of the story that is covered in this that you may not be aware of. Robert Downey Jr. kills this movie. He is one of the best Robert Downey Jr. performances I've ever seen because it is so un-Robert Downey Jr.
Did you know Oppenheimer was living in one of these little houses out here right around you? Is that covered in the movie?
There's a lot not covered in the movie that should have been covered, yes.
Okay. Then I do know more.
She used to work in a nuclear power plant, folks.
I did.
I'll bet you when you watch the movie...
Oh, they're probably doing all kinds of shit.
All kinds of shit wrong. Like,
oh, yeah.
How they're dealing with nuclear isotopes and things like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Problem. Anyway, Alex, it was a absolute joy to see you. And we were talking about the strike, and we were talking about, possibly the future of Hollywood.
What was Alex's take?
Alex has basically talked to some of his producers. He's done films for Sci-Fi Channel and Mar Vista and that type of thing. And some of them are saying if SAG gets everything that they're asking for in terms of the new rate, which jumps about 30 or 40%, I believe, that is going to push some of those $1 million to $3 million films overseas. That they're going to stop working with SAG, which I think is absolutely ridiculous and stupid and basically just greedy in my opinion. And I don't even know if that's true or not. That's like somebody saying, if this person gets elected, I'm moving to Canada. They don't move to Canada. Nobody moves to Canada. Give me a break.
Well, you're going to end up trying to make New York City look like somewhere else.
Yeah. There's a reason that people are doing things here. There's a reason that the United States is the location that most entertainment is created and shipped around the world. Okay?
What's the reason?
Because it's ideal. I mean, we have the weather, we have the cities, we have all of the different landscapes, we have, talent, little to no regulations, in some places. I mean, there's a lot of reasons.
Well, maybe it will force them into areas where they haven't been shooting before.
Sure. Honestly, like anything else, it's just there's just going to be an adjustment period. We act like it's the end of the world, but the people that made buggies when cars came along didn't all just go out of business. They just went out of business making buggies. The people that made buggies started to make car seats. They started to make, something else that associated with cars. This is anecdotal. Yes, exactly. There is an adjustment period. It's not like, this one section of the business just completely crashes and these people are left on the street. So that's another one of my takes. What about you? What about your trip? What about your staycation? What was that experience? What happened?
It was really fun. My sister-in-law came. You left, and my sister-in-law came the same day. And she's been on the show before, Angie.
Hi, Angie.
We just hung around. We were going to go to Bloodroot, the place that I'm doing the documentary on. And we just had a lot to do to get ready for all these women to come.
I just realized I picked the perfect cup for a visual show.
Yeah, that's my cup. Instead of porn director.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, there is that one too.
So, yeah, we mainly kicked around the house,
She said Bloodroot was like a transformative experience as a restaurant.
When Janet and Deanna got here, the first night we had the Korean chicken that we really love.
Ugly chicken!
And it was funny because when you got home, there was still a ton of it left, and we had 2 meals.
Girls don't eat very much.
Yeah, you were like, why is there so much chicken left? And I'm like, boys eat a lot.
Just would have
There were no boys.
Consumed all that chicken.
There were no boys around, so we're not able to eat 20 chickens.
Why are Koreans frying chicken so damn well? Were they frying chicken before we were frying chicken?
I mean, yeah, of course.
Because I discovered Korean fried chicken probably, 5 years ago, and my life has been transformed by it.
Well, it's not Southern. It's not the Southern fried style. It's lighter, crispier. Mm-hmm. But this place has actually a lot of breading on it, and then they just drown it in sauce. It's so good.
Oh, the sauce is so good.
But yeah, boys eat a lot. If boys had been here, there would have been no chicken left.
This is true. Bones. The dogs eat all the bones.
Yeah. And yeah, the second night they were here, we went to Bloodroot. Even though Selma and Noel, the people, who actually, the ladies who run it, they weren't there. They were at a wedding.
How long has Bloodroot been around?
46 years.
46 years?
Yeah.
Vegetarian restaurant.
It started vegetarian, and then they had a fish night once a week. And then they turned full vegan.
They were 2 wives that left their husbands to start a restaurant. Did they leave their husbands to come together? Were they?
I mean, we don't really know if they've ever been a couple. Mm-hmm. But no, they're not a couple.
But they were not happy in their lives, and they were looking for a new bliss.
Well, I don't know yet. I don't know if
There should be a documentary that explores that.
Yeah, I don't know if they were necessarily unhappy or if they found feminism and they found a new way to be. Mm-hmm. I don't know the answer to that.
Not saying that you can't be a feminist and be married.
Well, it's hard. I'm telling you that.
Lord! Some guy starts defending Oppenheimer.
Yeah, you have to listen to a lot of stupid shit. That's for sure.
Okay.
So, yeah, we went to Bloodroot, and, you know, even without the owners there, it was still a really precious, time. The bathroom, like, had a bunch of, like, sayings and, like, feminist ideas, and it was just kind of, the whole thing is just kind of got this energy, and it feels like going to a church.
Oh.
Like, it does.
Okay.
There's this, like, I don't know.
There's like an aura to it.
Yeah, there's like this feminine energy there where you feel very comfortable.
Okay.
But like the walls of the dining room are lined in like all these different eras of pictures of women.
Okay. Are they like all famous women or?
No, they are not famous women. I mean, maybe some of them, but that's not the point. The point is kind of, it's almost like an art installation.
Okay.
To be a woman sitting, and this is rare.
A feminist vegan church.
Thanks to our sponsor, Movie Mode Merch, the graphic t-shirt store to outfit you for your next film set. Be the person wearing the t-shirt everyone asks, "Hey, where'd you get that shirt?" Cast and crew alike love these inside jokes and filmmaking-inspired designs. Check them out on Insta at Movie Mode Merch.
What you kind of realize sitting there is when you go to a museum and you're reading about all these great works that a person's done, it's a man.
Well, sometimes, yes.
I mean, the amount of women that would be in this museum is very few.
Right.
Susan B. Anthony and like, you know.
Right. It would be more of a minority.
Yeah.
Right.
But when you're sitting there and even though you don't know who they are, what their names were, what they did, you're kind of, it's like a cloud of witnesses that you see a woman in like early 1900s dress and you're like, oh, you know, she probably fought to vote, you know.
Right.
You know, this person looks kind of like a suffragette.
Right.
You know, this person probably, you know, dealt with, you know, in her later years, she would have grown up and been part of, you know, the women's liberation movement.
Right,
or, you know, all kinds of things that, even though they're nameless, they're not faceless.
Right.
And it just kind of like, the whole vibe of the place was, and I think Angie made a video for me to kind of encapsulate what she felt there, but the whole vibe of the place was like, we got the ball this far, what are you doing?
Okay. So it's more, so you felt the challenge.
Yeah, you were a little challenged. And the food was delicious. Like, it really was. The chicken mole was my personal favorite, but the desserts are out of this world. There are women in history who did big things.
Right. But there were women in history that did tiny things that should have been big things. A stupid male idea would be, well, maybe men are just better at art, or maybe men are just, you know, better at sculpture, or maybe men, you know, and that's why we know more about him. And I'm telling you that there probably is proportionately just as many great female artists as there are male artists. It's just that the male artists got so many more opportunities and they got so many more eyes on them.
They're privileged. If you were a woman, just like these women at Bloodroot, if you're a woman and you have kids and you want to go out and do something big with your life and you have kids,
right?
Like that's another layer of like, you're a shitty person. You're a horrible mother.
Yeah.
If you go out and try to do something big. Like a lot of women, you know, when they're making it, you know, like look at Janis Joplin, look at like some big, huge Stevie Nicks. A lot of these women just can't have kids.
There was a really good moment. I think it was Charlotte and just like that. Okay, I can't believe I'm quoting this, but she was basically telling her husband, who was.
She went back to work.
She went back to work, and he was trying to take care of some things, and he felt overwhelmed.
He was like, I'm
need
done.
Some help. It's too much. I can't do it all.
Yeah.
And she just like laid it out. You're not doing it all. You're basically doing the bare minimum
of what we're required to do.
And it was like, damn. But it was truth.
Yeah.
She was spitting truth at him.
Yeah.
And his reaction to it was exactly what your reaction should be when you're being a male bitch, which is, okay, yes, that's true.
I don't know any other way for men to rise to the levels that they rise without, if they have a family, without a woman making that possible. If a man actually had to split duties, really split duties.
Right.
Every other day, take kids to school. Every other day, do this.
Right.
Come home and cook dinner. Just like a woman would be, expected to do. If men actually took those responsibilities seriously, they would have to determine work-life balance a little bit better. They may not achieve quite as much.
Right.
They may not be able to travel around in an art show or, something, because somebody's taking care of those children. Who? That's just irrelevant. Like, I think a great art installation would be, because I know a little bit about, like, Frederick Douglass. His wife was amazing. I think it would be beautiful to have, like, an art installation that was just wives of famous men, because the only way they get to be famous is because someone is taking care of their shit for them. There's not a damn thing that happens in your life that I'm not necessary to.
Well, we had a conversation yesterday where I, felt a bit down about one of our projects, because what I was hoping was going to happen with, an investor didn't end up happening the way I was hoping it was going to happen.
Well, and I think when we dug into the hope, there's realistic hope. We were talking about faith.
Right.
Faith is
the substance of things hoped for.
Right. You can
but there
hope
has
for
to be
something.
substance to it.
Right. The substance of things and the evidence
of things not seen.
So you had evidence as to what this investor was probably going to do.
Right.
Because you've gotten an investment at a certain size every single time.
Right.
You had evidence there.
Right.
But your hope was quite unrealistic to what you're...
And not logical. Really.
And illogical.
Right.
Yeah. It was what I call unrealistic. Unrealism.
Right.
Is where you were living. And people do that because they don't want to face... In the end, I don't know what the exact motivation is, but in the end, it's just easier to be lazy. It's just easier to believe, to hope, to do all these things, to be lazy.
Right.
And not to have to get off your ass and ensure this is the case.
Right.
Ensure you meet the requirements for whatever. I just hope that I get it. No.
It's kind of there's a thing sometimes I do when I'm on a long walk or a long hike or something like that, where for a period of time I'll just try to not look at how far I've gone. And, sometimes I'll even close my eyes and walk for a few steps or just look around. It's like, I don't want to think about how far there is to go. Okay? And I always, when I do look down and find out how far I still have to travel, I never have gone further than I thought that I did. I've always feel like I've gone further than I actually have.
Right. Like, okay. I must be really close to the end now.
Yeah, exactly.
There's still 2 miles to go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think that that's the way we sort of live.
This is what I did. I told you. I said, there's a budget that you want, that you're trying for.
3 sheets of paper.
3 sheets of paper. I mean, like, this is very, make a list and go get it.
Right.
if you're having a hard time doing anything, it's because you haven't made a list.
Right.
I guarantee you. Make a list,
Right.
and it will be apparent.
And we wrote down on these 3 sheets of paper the 3 different versions.
There's
of
3
the film.
budgets.
3,
There's
Well, it's not even really 3 budgets. It's like
possibilities.
These are the 3 possibilities, the different people and the different things that we could work with.
Your resources.
And at different budgets, you had people that were available on 2 of the 3, or you had people that were available for all 3, or
Well,
you
there's
had
like the
some that
high-
are only available for 1.
There's the high budget,
Right.
the medium budget, which would be attainable,
And what we call
then the down and dirty.
The down and dirty budget.
Right.
Right.
So once you started putting down your opportunities on each budget, you realized, oh, well, I don't have very many opportunities to meet this large budget, the biggest one.
Right, but the medium and the small are like really, really attainable.
Right.
Right.
But you have to write this stuff down. You have to speak it out of you and look at it.
Well, I think because I am so focused, and I'm still focused on the big budget, that I wasn't thinking about, because we didn't have the idea of the medium or the down and dirty. And once you've made a decision, okay, this is happening. Okay?
Right.
This is actually happening. The question is, how is this going to happen? And the thing is that there is no, well, it should happen this way, and if it happens this way, that means that you missed, an opportunity. No, if it gets done, that's a success. That's the way it was always meant to be a success. From the foundations of the earth, that's the way that the thing was supposed to be made. And I think once I laid that out that way, it was like taking a real burden off of me.
Right. Because unreality weighs a lot. Mm-hmm. Truth sets you free.
Right.
The truth, shining a light on it and looking at what's my actual situation, what are my actual opportunities, and, looking at it not like I have to make this film for this budget, but I have to make this film.
There is a, tell me if this is a good analogy or not, okay? Because this was in Oppenheimer, which is basically, the idea is that within the space of an atom, like 98% of it is empty space. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Right.
So that's why when you compress an atom, that's why it creates the power.
Right.
And writing it down is like removing the empty space. The empty space is what fills up everything, and you have that sense, what am I going to do? There are so many miles between me and where I want to go. And by writing it down, you're compressing and you're shrinking that empty space.
Yeah.
Does that work?
Yeah, that made sense.
Yay! Finally.
I just hope that it doesn't end in
an explosion and the death of 220,000 people. But
well, and the ruination of many more generations.
Yeah, exactly. And the PTSD of an entire country, which
that comes out in their art.
Oh, absolutely. It's definitely what created hentai, folks. Oppenheimer created hentai. It happened.
Maybe.
What have we got going? We're going to Atlanta this week.
Yeah, we're going to go shoot some more of Back to the Trap.
Back to the Trap, yeah.
And this is actually the big party scene.
Yes. With a bunch of like classic rapper guys.
Yeah, there's some kind of I think they've won a Grammy.
Big Mike, I think, is one of them.
No, Mike Smith.
Mike Smith, okay, yeah, Mike Smith.
No, it's not Mike Smith. It's Mike Smith.
Sorry, excuse me. I'm so not street, apparently.
I think.
And Drummer Boy.
Drummer Boy.
Yes.
And Little Papa? Is Little Papa coming?
Sure, man. I don't know. I don't know. But they're going to be there at this. We had a little bit of a question whether or not the Airbnb was a scam or not. But we think we're good.
So to book an Airbnb, you're not going to get your money back. So I'm always terrified, and I always double and triple and quadruple check everything.
Pulling the trigger, folks. Scary thing.
Yeah, because I mean that's usually quite a bit of your budget.
Yeah,
man, that's
like,
going to be
like $3,000, $4,000, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So I double checked, triple checked, quadruple checked with the executive producer. We were all a go. I hit reserve. We were done. I sent them the address. One of the actors looked up the address and said, "Hey, this looks like a scam." And I'm not really even sure, other than phishing, how a scam would work on Airbnb, because nobody has access to your information.
And also, once something was found out to be a scam on Airbnb, immediately people would contact Airbnb and go, "Hey, this is a scam." So you could only do it like once.
Yeah, it seemed like a lot of work.
Yeah, it wasn't work.
So, but anyway, I was like,
apparently they because we looked at the picture from like it was 2019.
Well, they were looking on Google Maps,
right?
And it was a house that had a similar garage and a similar front door.
It looked abandoned,
but it was abandoned. Yeah. I mean, it was trash.
All grown up, and yeah.
So I was like, I called Airbnb. I was talking to them. I think this is a scam. Blah blah blah. And then I looked it up on Google Maps for myself, and you could look at it, on Google Maps, you can look at like every time they've been through that neighborhood and look at a picture.
Right.
It was like, it wasn't that bad in like 2008. And then in 2012, it was really bad. And then 2019, it was really bad. But then I looked on Zillow, and they had bought the house in 2020.
Right.
And then Airbnb said they had only listed it in 2023 in March. So I was like, okay, so they could have done a lot of renovations.
Somebody did a super HGTV version on this thing.
I mean, and I've heard like it's still in a bad area.
Right.
But like Airbnbs, that's not as much of a thing because you're not living in the neighborhood.
Right.
Like, Georgia don't give a fuck about who lives there. No. Like, as a state,
right,
they don't give a fuck about you. Their healthcare is trash.
Republicans.
Their healthcare is trash. Their public school systems are trash.
Yeah.
I mean, they really don't care.
Yeah, they don't give a shit. Yeah.
That's why I'm saying that Atlanta's a thing.
Right. It is.
Georgia don't care.
Yeah, Georgia don't care.
Even about Atlanta, which is weird because usually a state cares about at least its fucking capital.
Until poor Americans start to vote for what is best for them instead of what is their political ideation, this is going to be a problem.
Or what their church says to do.
That too. But we believe that we are not going to an abandoned house.
No, because Airbnb even said, well, there's currently guests in the house.
Right.
So if it were a scam, we would have known because these guests would have gotten there and said, ah!
But it looks incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like an incredible house. So more to come. We will give you the update when we come back. I guess we probably won't be doing a show until we get back, right?
Yeah, we got shows stockpiled.
All right. Well, this has been fun. Let's not forget how great the eggs were. My analogies, hit or miss. You know what happens.
That's the case always.
Exactly. Watch Oppenheimer.
Don't watch Oppenheimer.
It's hard not to get romantic about movies. Thanks for listening to Married to Movies. Jon and Tracy will meet you for breakfast tomorrow. Thanks to our sponsor, Movie Mode Merch, comfortable graphic tees made by and for awesome filmmakers to wear on set and off. Check them out on Insta at Movie Mode Merch.